What's up, Sharks? This is Mr. O, back with another version of Flip Notes. We are now done with layers of the earth, plate tectonics, soil, and soil conservation. We are moving into our next new unit, which is reproduction of flowers. First thing you need to know that there are male reproductive parts of a flower and female reproductive parts of a flower. So on your notes on the top, you have one, which is the main thing. What you call all the parts together would be known as the stamen. So the stamen includes all of the parts that are the male, which there's two parts to the stamen. There's the anther and there's the filament. Now the general function of the male parts of a flower is to produce and distribute pollen. You notice this in springtime when the cars turn yellow. A lot of you have allergies to this. Those pieces of pollen are produced by the male, being distributed into the air, trying to get to the female reproductive parts of a flower. So the male, overall, it's called the stamen. There's two parts to it, the anther and the filament, and its general function is to produce and distribute pollen. That's what you're going to include into that box below the 1AB. Moving on to the female reproductive parts of a flower. Overall, the thing's called the pistil. So the female altogether is the pistil. The female, unlike the male, has four parts to it. The male has two. So the first one is called the stigma. Second one is the style. Third one is the ovary. And the fourth one is the ovule. Together, all those parts together are called the pistil, which are all make up the female reproductive parts of the flower. In the box below that, you're going to write its general purpose. Its general purpose is to fertilize the ovules to become a fruit, vegetable, or flower. You'll notice that some vegetables have flowers before they become a fruit. These processes are similar between vegetable plants, plants with flowers, fruit plants. So yeah. Moving on to the last two processes. Now a process is something that happens in steps. First one's called pollination. You should have learned about this a long time ago. It's a process of pollen being distributed or spread, that's what distributed meant, to the female parts of a flower. So that's pollination, meaning pollen being released from the male and brought to the female. When that is complete, it's called pollination. The second process that you're going to need to know about is called fertilization. Fertilization happens after pollination. It's the process of where the pollen travels down to the ovary and grows into a fruit or vegetable or flower. So pollination leads to fertilization, and then fertilization leads to pollination. They are connected together. And on the bottom of your notes, there's a statement that states the length of night or dark period controls flowering. We'll talk more about that as the unit goes on, but it depends on how long there is nighttime will depend on how much or how little something flowers or pollinates. All right, that's the end of the notes. Have a good night.